Can we just stop calling wrestling fake to wrestlers? I don't care
Or
if you call it to
just in general.
well, in general, I mean, I'm beggars can't be choosers, you know what I mean? That's kind of my thing, like, of course, in a perfect world, I'd love that where to be stopped, but people suck. So, can we just limit can we not say to wrestlers, like, you know what's gonna happen? And even if he said it in Austin Theory or whatever his real name is, uh, whatever way he was reacting, do you really want that reaction? Like, do you wanna go through it? You know what's gonna happen. You know the
Mhm.
same response gonna happen. So why are we pushing the buttons? And the journalists who do it, they literally my thinking, because I've been around said journalists who are like that, um, they live in their own little bubble. Like, it's all about them, and it's all about the story, and it's all about that whatever. And that's just when it comes to wrestling, that's not it. It's not that, and you could end up in a very iffy situation. So just stop it. Like,
Yeah,
you're making
no,
yourself look bad.
well, and of course, like when we were talking about it before we started recording, I definitely think it's a skit or whatever,
Kayfabe,
um,
not dead.
similar to what they did with Grayson Waller when Grayson also threatened to kick someone's butt and whatever for saying some stuff like that too, and he defended the company and defended wrestling. So I think this is just another instance of that. And of course, it works well because it's been trending like all day. It went viral, and I've seen even people on my timeline who maybe they were wrestling fans when they were younger or something, and they're not anymore, but they're seeing it too and they're reacting to it. So it's definitely getting out there. People are seeing it, and I don't know if it's just to build more hype or what, but I mean, it's getting people to like Theory. So I don't know if that's their goal too, because I feel like that's kind of going against what they want with Theory, because they want people to hate him. But I'm like, he's getting points from people who didn't care about him before this. So I don't know. That's kind of working against what you were trying. But um, I do think a lot of the time too, like if this were more real, because I don't think it was, I've noticed that a lot of the time, we've seen this in football, for instance, where they won't send a sports reporter to do the press conference, right? It's like what we saw in the playoffs where they were talking uh to the team that was or to the Bucks and having to play the Lions, and they were like, well, how are you going to deal with the snow and playing in the snow and whatever? And it's like, okay, this is clearly someone who's not a sports
They
journalist
don't
because they have
watch,
no
yeah.
idea that Detroit plays in a dome, right? And so it feels like that happens a lot too when it comes to wrestling, is they're just having normal basic journalists or news anchors interviewing them who have no prior knowledge about wrestling, and so they ask these silly questions or they'll say these sly comments not realizing that it is offensive or that they look ridiculous. This feels like that could be that if this were more real. But I feel like that's definitely an issue when it comes to wrestling, is that just there's not enough people that are actually interviewing or discussing the topic, that know what they're talking about.